Today I'm making a fresh and springy dinner, and it takes about 30 minutes start to finish. It's miso salmon with gingered carrots and couscous. And the first thing I'm gonna do is make my couscous, which is really probably the easiest side dish you can ever make. It's 1 cup of water with a cup of couscous. You need to bring your water to a boil. You can actually remove it from the heat or turn off the heat. Add about a teaspoon of grated fresh ginger. Stir that in. And a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. Stir that in, cover it up, and then let it stand for 5 minutes, and that's it. Just leave that for 1 sec while I prep my vegetables. Carrots, 4 medium carrots. Trim them, peel them, and then cut them crosswise. I like to cut them on the diagonal just because I think that that's prettier, but you certainly can cut it however you want. I'd say about 1/2 inch thick. You want these to cook quickly, so you cut them relatively thinly. This dish also has some scallions in it, and I'm cooking the scallions with the carrots in like a 1-inch piece. It's a bunch of scallions. This is a pretty big bunch. I actually don't think I'll use the whole bunch. Usually we say a bunch of scallions. I usually mean between like 8, maybe 10, but that's a lot if they're very skinny. Cut them into 1-inch pieces. The very ends, the green ends, you can cut into smaller pieces just for garnish at the end. These end garnishes that we always recommend in our recipes are completely optional, but they add a nice fresh bit at the end. They add something beautiful at the end, and I always think it's nice to finish your dish off really beautifully. So save some thinly sliced scallion greens to sprinkle on your final dish. Now you can heat 2 tablespoons of butter in a straight-sided skillet. This straight-sided skillet is so useful. Add 2 tablespoons of butter and let that melt. To the butter, add your carrots, those scallion lengths. Stir that around. This is 2 tablespoons of white miso. You could use yellow miso as well. That goes in, as well as another 1.5 teaspoons of grated ginger. So the whole recipe calls for 2.5 teaspoons of grated ginger. To steam these a little bit, add a cup of water. You may want to whisk this a little bit to dissolve the miso slightly. It'll dissolve as it continues to simmer, but I like to whisk it in just a little bit so it's a little bit more evenly distributed. Then cover this up and let them simmer for 3 minutes. Okay, so after 3 minutes, you're going to add your salmon and asparagus. This is 1 bunch of asparagus. You can snap each piece off like that. I tend to just sort of line them up and cut them off at the part where I feel like they're tough, and then if I see one that seems like it's even tougher and it has a tougher end, then I'll go back in. I feel like I lose too much when I snap them like this. Like, look how much is left. It's not enough. But then I guess maybe you're eating tough asparagus. No, I wouldn't do that to you. You can also peel them, but I never do that because that's just super fussy. So this is 4 pieces of salmon. They should be about 1 inch thick. The weight's not as important as the thickness because the thickness is what affects the cooking time. So if they're slightly bigger or smaller, that's okay, but they should be around the same thickness at the thickest part. Salmon and most fish has a thicker part and a thinner part, but these are all sort of pretty even, I have to say. This gets lemon zest, about 1 teaspoon grated over it. And I do need more zest for my couscous, which I forgot. So I'll grate a little bit of extra lemon zest for that too. I will grate another teaspoon of zest for the couscous. And hold that. There we go. Great. Now, you'll add your asparagus and salmon to the pan. I like to sort of nestle my salmon in there, but you can put them sort of semi on top of the asparagus. Just get it all in the pan together. Oh, the asparagus can be on top of the salmon. It's a little better, I think. There you go. There you go. Cover this up and then cook it until the asparagus are crisp tender and the salmon is cooked through. That'll take 5 to 6 minutes. So the couscous should have been sitting for at least 5 minutes. I was supposed to add some lemon zest and forgot, so I'm going to add it now. It's okay. I forgive myself. I will just stir that in now. You can fluff your couscous. Fluffed. Beautiful. The asparagus looks bright green. The salmon looks cooked but not overcooked. I'm pretty psyched right now. So spoon up some couscous. And then some of the asparagus. I choose to use these tongs to get it out. I think it's just a little bit easier. I have a lot more control. And then give yourself some salmon and some of those carrots. Should be a creamy sauce in the bottom of the pan that's all those juices. Real nice. Here we go. How beautiful that is. Sprinkle with some of those scallions and give yourself a little lemon wedge. A little squeeze. Yeah. Isn't it beautiful? It's so beautiful and fresh and really interesting and a lot of depth of flavor from that miso. Give it a try. If you like recipes like this and you want more, make sure to click like and subscribe because we have plenty more where this came from.